Welcome to another Small Pond Sunday showdown. This time we're looking at the Black Forest fixture. This was intended to be a 3v3, however we had a player drop out, so it became a 3v2. Jazz and Harry against Ben, Herbie and Ciaran. Now, having a quick look at the civs chosen, Harry has gone for his usual favourites, the Mongols, the Cavalry Archer civ, who have the Mangadai and obviously have those some very good unique text in there as well, including the nomads where any houses lost don't impact on the pop. With Jazz, she went for the Persians, one that she's been a bit tried and trusted, something she's been trying recently with their very low cost crossbowmen going into Imperial. Ben has gone with Teutons, a infantry civ with very strong monks as well. It'll be interesting to see whether they get used. Herbie's gone for the Mayans. He's used them a few times before with the plumed archers, a very strong archer civ. Ciaran's gone for the Spanish. Interesting, very good with their gold. They have 30% faster working builders. They're a gunpowder and monk civ, so it's going to be really interesting to see if Ciaran can make the most of those gunpowder units by getting to the Imperial Age as quickly as he can. They also have very strong trade units for the team bonus, so that will be really important for Ben, Herbie and Ciaran if they're going to stand a chance against the Titanic twosome of Jazz and Harry. Jazz, an aggressive player. Harry, late boomer, seems to be. If you let him grow, he's going to produce some enormous armies capable of destroying anybody. It'll be interesting to see how they get on. So, without further ado, let's load it up. And here we go. Like with our last replay, I'm just going to go through each player's start. We're starting with Ciaran. And first house is straight up with 2 villages. He's gone for the second house. Now, he's not got anyone collecting resources, interestingly enough. Trying to get those houses built. The geese are moving. Let's just have a look, see how Harry's got on the other side. Now, Harry's got his 2 houses up. Again, no one collecting. So maybe it'd be interesting to see. Ben has, again, no one's collecting yet. Very interesting start from the first 3 players. Herbie, again, we're just getting those houses up, trying to get those villages built before we start collecting. Herbie's got his Eagle Scout moving. With the Mayans, like the Aztecs, like most of the American civs, they don't have cavalry units. So you really need to make the most of those Eagle Scouts with their quick movement. See how Jazz is getting on. Jazz has already got 6 villages all on food. The scout is making the exploration. She's found a boar, she's found a berry. Right, Ciaran's found some pigs, which will definitely help. He's in a quite sheltered, well, as Black Forest goes, it's a very sheltered map. Really favours those quite defensive players who like to sit back, boom, and then hit you with a strong army and post-imperial. Just opening up the map so we can see, well, as you can see, you've got the trade routes for the 2 teams. There's quite a few little pinch points. We've got one through the middle and then one at the top, one near the bottom. But again, they're very narrow. It's going to be interesting as we get into those later ages to see how teams approach this. Is someone going to go overly aggressive in the early stages? Right, let's have a look. This is Ben. He's getting his lumberjack up. Let's just go have a quick look at the villager count. Harry is on 8, as is Ben and Herbie. Ciaran on 9. Jazz leading the way with 10. Going to speed things up now. Get things moving. Jazz still on her pigs. She's got 7 villagers on food, 4 on wood. Now her 8th villager looks like her 8th food villager going onto the berries. And you're definitely have plenty of wood on this map, that's for sure. And I'm expecting an abundance of trash in the late game. Moving across. Look now. This is Ciaran. Ciaran's doing again a good start. He's got his on to his berries. He is currently on 15 villages, second highest in the game. 16 now is level with Jazz. The other 3 players on 14. It is a race, but it's all about racing with those villagers. If you're not quick enough, every second counts. You leave your TC idle for just half a second, you're going to lose that advantage. And it's so important in that transition from dark into feudal. Right, Harry successfully lured his boar right under his TC. That's a really good bit of play. It's going to help with that quick food collection. So Herbie's still on the pigs and the geese. Hasn't touched his berries yet. But maybe a bit, and he is appearing to run low on his livestock. It may mean a delay. Well, he's gone through 4, and that's very good boar luring. Very close to the TC, but he is going to want to start on his mill soon. So let's see how Ben is getting on now. He has got his boar and lured it successfully right next to the TC, and he's gone for the second one already. That's perfect timing from Ben. And look at that, right under the TC. Perfect transition from boar to boar. I'm just speeding this up a bit extra, and Ben's taken one villager off to carry out, and Ciaran is the first one up. It's closely followed by Harry and then Jazz. And oh, look at this, we've got some green action going on here, and Jazz, I don't know if you can see this, but Ciaran has just built a barracks right outside her base. I'm just going to put the fog of war on and see what she can see. She hasn't seen it. Oh, this is incredible, and there it is. And Jazz has got the spearman out, knocked the villager out, but the damage is done. It's going to take a lot of power to take that down. She's going to try it with the scout, the spearman, but in that time, Ciaran is producing a lot of troops to go and put her under early pressure, and here they come with the spearmen. And they're just going to hit that mill, just keep it, it's that idle time, and that's going to cost Jazz. She's got some spearmen defending, but that constant pressure is really going to make life difficult for Jazz. And of all the players to hit early, you want to hit Jazz early. Harry under no pressure at the moment. He's garrisoned someone in his thing, and that looks like a ping from Jazz to tell Harry where all the opponents are. Ciaran still applying that early pressure, and Ben coming in with supporting spearmen, and they're not making life easy for Jazz in these opening stages. Look at that. It's a good 8 spearmen hitting that barracks, and when you look, there's 4 farms completely unoccupied. She's mining the gold well, just to feel maybe Ciaran could push on a bit, but Jazz has recovered well, got the archers out and defended. But Ciaran's got the archery range up now, and now Ben coming in. Again, this is all time that Jazz is unable to concentrate on her economy, but to be fair to her, she's still doing a good job. A lot of villagers working still, and the wall's going up from Ciaran. He's walling Jazz in here, and this will be very, very difficult for Jazz. She's going to be stuck in now. Jazz won't have the chance to push out. This is brilliant offensive play from Ciaran. Then again, just helping Ciaran with the support. It's a very well played plan here. Then now we're walling up with the palisade walls. Then just knocking out the outposts. And the barracks looks like it's nearly going down. I just feel this will have done a lot for Jazz. We'll have a look at the points. She still leads the way, but it's just another thing for her to think about. Speed this out instead of going on. There's more troops coming through. They're just walling up. Look at that. They've got the pinch point first, and they've secured it, and walling up, putting the towers up. Oh wow, this is really good play on this Black Forest. Harry's walled himself in to just try and keep Herbie at bay. Herbie sending an evil scout, just hitting Harry's scout, but not very much. And Ben is the second up to castle. Harry got there first. Harry not really giving Jazz much support, but Jazz seemed to fight off the pressure on her own. She has now just got rid of Ciaran, pushed him out, and now she's walling up her side, even though Ciaran has walled that up completely. Oh, and there's Jazz trying to push through on the rush. Not really a rush, but just trying to hit Ben with an early attack. He's got through, and now it looks like Jazz is going to try and A brilliant interception there from Ciaran, but Jazz has still got those scouts moving around. And it's all kicking off now, and Jazz has got it right in behind Ciaran's eco. She's got to hit some of those villagers, make it count. But with that one scout, it's going to be tricky, and Ciaran does really well. Garrisons a couple of villagers, gets the hits, and the scout is down. These crossbows are coming out from Ben, stopping Jazz from getting that wall up. And it's all kicking off here, Harry versus Herbie. And Jazz has come in to support Harry and has prevented the castle drop. That's a really good bit of defensive play. Good teamwork there. Harry's scouts move, his light cavalry moving further forward. They'll surely be down by these crossbows. Wide decision from Harry to pull back. Jazz has pinged for this wall, and I think she's looking at trying to get Harry to help her push and knock Ben back a bit, but look at this fortification here. It's going to make life very difficult for Jazz and Harry. Herbie will continue to apply pressure. There doesn't seem to be much going on here. And Ben has come in and just disrupting Harry's second TC. Those villagers aren't being protected, they're going down. Ben's getting the TC up as well. Look at this. They're taking over. Jazz coming in with the knights to support, but the TC's gone up. And, well, they're establishing a foothold on this side of the map. It's been really good offensive play from Herbie, Ciaran and Ben from the get-go. Jazz and Harry just trying to get that castle down. Herbie just continuing to apply pressure. And going to take those cabs down. They're not being micromanaged, and those scouts, those Eagle scouts, are going to have a bit of free reign here. And indeed, they're going to go down there. Herbie will want to get a villager across, and indeed, here come an army of them. 5 villagers heading this way to get that castle up. It's not, the attack on it's not been micromanaged, and that castle will go up surely. Down here, Ben is continuing to apply pressure. The castle has gone up from Harry, but the castle going up from Ben on this side. And unfortunately for Harry, Ben's castle is in range of his villagers, and that's going to cost him here. He's had to garrison them, and let's just have a quick look on the eco. Leading the way is Herbie, who seems to have had has not too much to think about. Just this castle has now gone up, and those knights are going to be in trouble with those pikemen chasing them down. A good decision from Jazz to pull them back. They're a very expensive unit tonight. You do not want to waste them. This battle for the middle continues to rage on. It looks like Ben is winning it though. However, this castle from Harry is knocking the TC down. Ben, meanwhile, has gone into Imperial, and that will mean trebs, and that will mean trouble. Look, and again, not too much to talk about at the minute. It's gone a bit quiet as both sides look to rebuild, regain a bit of control, prepare a bit of an army, and go for an attack. Herbie has really dealt. I think Harry may have shot himself in the foot walling up that close. It just has given Herbie that extra bit of room to stretch out. That just will mean more pressure for Harry and Jazz as the game goes on. And the petards are heading in. They've not done too much though. Here come more petards, and are they going to get there though? Indeed, no they're not. Castles are always going to go straight for the petards and then come back to what they always hit that unit. Even if they're firing on a TC like they are now, if they see a unit coming at them, they're going to knock them out. Ram's getting prepared. It's really interesting. Look how close these two are. With the fog of war back on, just see what Harry can see at this point. Go over to you. Now he is aware of what's going on here, maybe to a full extent. Jazz is coming in with her famous Rams. They're not quite fully upgraded. but that amount of rams will do enough damage to knock out some of those buildings. They're going to need some defence, and they've got it. A lot of light cav from Harry, and Jazz's knights coming into support. And down, well, that castle will go down. The Tards trying to do something, but they're not very good against units. Again, scores fairly level. Jazz and Harry leading the way on the scores, ahead of the other three. Gone all quiet on the Ciaran front. He's had a fantastic early game. That may have just slowed him down going into Castle and Imperial, but it seemed to have, it's done enough to keep Jazz on her toes, that's for sure. Let's continue to provide the knights. Harry is meanwhile upgraded to Hussars. Not seeing any of his famous main guys, but the Trebs are out, and Ben looks like he's going to lose this middle ground here, because it's brilliant team play. Trebs knocking down the castle, Jazz taking out those military buildings. Then they have to concede it here and just fall back and regroup. Meanwhile, it's very quiet on this side. Herbie just had to gather up an army, not really apply too much pressure. We've now gone up to Imperial. Right, well, that's Ben's forward base gone. Look at all those boars, by the way. It'd be interesting. No one would have got them, but a huge abundance of food. But you don't really think about that once you've got up to Feudal. Skip this forward a bit, speed it up. Get so entranced by watching the various movements and attacks that you end up watching the game in real time and you hear growls. So Jess has gone up to Imperial. The castle is up, but the Trebs are up from Herbie, and he's going to knock that castle down. And this is the beginning of the end. Well, the Trebs are out, but look at that. That's fantastic play from Herbie. He's allowed that. Patience, took his time, built up his castles. He's got the Trebs in the middle. They are so protected. Harry's going to fight fire with fire, and the Trebs are coming out to defend, but Harry is losing his defences here. But maybe too little too late. Oh, and Jazz, hello. Jazz has taken a group of knights in right into the back of Herbie's eco. She's hitting the trade route, but the plumed archers, the arbalests are all over it. But those knights are holding firm, and they're going to get away. They've got the pace. Few have gone down. Now Jazz will be wise to maybe turn her attention to some of these villagers, but she's going to ignore them. She's carrying on with the trade route, the gold. But it seems a bit, I mean, look, Herbie's already got a huge amount of gold. He's not going to hit him too hard. And there's a lot of knights she's lost. Meanwhile, Harry continues his push. He's knocked down one of the castles. Herbie applying it, using his plumed archers to fire over the wall and knock the Trebs out. But the Trebs, with their high pierce armour, are still going to do a lot of damage before they go down. These aren't even firing. They're quite happy to let the Trebs have their way with the castles. Have a look what Herbie can see now. They can see them. But I think they're focusing fire on the Hussars here in the middle, which are just sort of blocking the way through, and some of Herbie's units have pushed through the wall. The gate hasn't gone down, but it's being held open, and Herbie's troops are swarming in now. He's got the capped ram as well. Now that could be dangerous. Now what's Herbie going to do here? He's paused, he's thinking, he's hesitating. In that time, Harry could be amassing a defence. He has got a couple trained and ready to come out. But this is the time you've got to hit him, Herbie. He's pushing them through, but now the gate is shut. He won't be able to get any more through unless he destroys it. And indeed, he's focusing his fire on the gate. Could be a bit of an error. You're allowing Harry the time to rebuild, and he's trying to get that castle up. He's got to turn around and hit those villagers. Surely he will in time. Hopefully Harry's going to get that up before they destroy that gate. The gate is down, and those villagers are off. It's a very huge army. Here come the Hussars. Hussars really won't stand a chance, especially those halberdiers running in behind. Nothing going on here. Seen a lot of Ciaran in this Imperial Age. He's got a few troops guarding that trade route. But it is a very fortified position that Jazz has made over here to stop that. Then again, it's all gone quiet on this side as both Ciaran and Ben look to get a bit of a boom on and raise an army. Hit Jazz and Harry hard. Meanwhile, Jazz is coming in to protect Harry with those cavaliers, which will surely do a lot of damage against the plumed archers and the elephants. Maybe to attack maybe faltering here, but those halves are doing well against the cavaliers. Doing very well. Herbie's got a few more coming in. We've got some arbalesters, some eagle warriors. But Jazz is going to push them back, and Herbie's going to pull back. He's looking to wall up here. Villagers are coming in. That's a lot of siege rams he's got ready. And Jazz just pushing through. His elephants are so hard to take down with archers. They've got such a high pierce armour. Look at that, 2+4 there. And they're just going to carry on through. They're finally going down. They haven't done a lot of damage, but they're just a bit of a pickle to get out now. Harry's coming out with his onagers, the ones he loves to use, and if Herbie doesn't split those between the archers, they're going to be toast. See you later. Oh dear, friendly fire? No, not quite. Harry will want to get that upgrade for Siege Onager. A quick look at the villager count. Harry's on 102, leading the way. Jazz with 84. Now they should both have the biggest economy. It is showing on the scores, but Herbie leading the way with 10,000. He has got a huge stockpile of resources here. Now surely he's going to want to spend some of these. Compare that, I mean, Ciaran's got quite a low amount of resources, but I reckon yeah, that's why. Look at this huge army of conquistadors and halberdiers. Oh, there's more conquistadors back here. It's just a waiting game. The longer you wait, the harder it gets. Now, Herbie's walled himself in. He's realised that, and now he's building a gate. I move those soldiers, Herbie. Excuse me, pardon me. Alright, Harry survived that minor scare and he's got the Siege Onager upgrade. When Harry's got the Siege Onager upgrade, you know you're in trouble. He's going for that castle build that he didn't quite manage last time when Herbie broke through. Jazz, meanwhile, is sending reinforcements up with her elephants and cavaliers. Not seen that huge strongbow presence we saw, crossbow presence we saw in the last game. She's got any archery? Yeah, she's got a couple of archery ranges, but not using them at the moment. I guess when you're coming up against an archer sieve, it's not really archers and archers. You're going to want skirms if you're playing against Herbie. Probably what I would have gone for, some cavalry. That's probably why she's gone with the cavaliers. Again, Ben and Ciaran staying quiet. Their score's quite low. I think their early push has sort of set them back in terms of economy, and it's just taking a bit of time to get up to speed. Look at Ben's count is the lowest, 70 villagers. It's got a decent economy, a lot of wood, as you'd expect on this map. You sort of think, yeah, it's about the average of 3,000, 3,000 to 4,000 wood stockpiled. Herbie again, look at all those resources. He's hoarding them. I mean, you look at all his military buildings, spend a few, get your armies out. He's up to 220 pop capacity. Ben Ben's just looking to catch. I mean, he's just low on the score at the minute. Can't see a huge military presence. Oh, like I say, he's probably just focusing on getting that eco up. Quick look again at the eco scores. Okay, it's not bad. We want to get an army out soon, but it's a bit of a stalemate. Let's speed things up because Herbie's building a huge force. Here they look like they're ready to rumble. He's packed the siege rams through the gates. He's going to go surely. Here they go. The rams going in first to soak up the pressure, but they've run straight into the cavalry. And that's problematic. They've all gone down. That was horrendous. I don't think Herbie was expecting that. He's got a lot of trebs to back him up though. Oh dear, oh dear. Back to the drawing board, Herbie. Now he's making a push through. If he can get those onagers in behind, oh look at this. With great strikes with the siege onagers. And he's going to take, oh, and Herbie, look at that. Those plumed archers are dropping like flies here. Got to spread them out, got to pull them back, and he has done now. We've got so many there. But he has got a castle down. But Harry and those siege onagers is a deadly combo. Look at that. That was a huge army. It's been decimated. But Herbie's got the eco and he can surely bounce back from that. Just having a look at the military count here, and Ciaran's got a 68 infantry, 8 siege, 70 cavalry archers. That'll be his conquistadors. And if you just look at Ben's, he's only got 15 infantry, 1 range, 1 cavalry, a low military for him. Now, if Jazz just comes and pushes through, she's going to have a chance of knocking him out. But all quiet. As of yet, Jazz is just looking to boom here. She's got a huge space to work with. The siege rams are getting ready. Well, she does love her siege rams. She's got the paladin upgrade. And here comes some crossbows. Well, 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 look at this army here. It's about using them right, putting them in the right place. You want to hit, maybe, if it were me, I'd be looking at hitting Herbie with everything you've got. Or even, I'd go Ben. You look at the scores, Ben is currently lowest, and at the military count shows he's not got a huge army to defend it. But Jazz has not built a gate here, so as it stands, looks like they're preparing for a push on Herbie, who is the highest scoring player in that team. Interesting tactic, but I guess if you can knock out the highest scoring player, then the other two may just fold. Ben's just gathering a few more, and he's recognised the danger and pushed some troops to support Herbie. Herbie's got a bit of siege going on here. He's got a big group of monks as well. And the Trebs have started firing, and it looks like they're just trying to hit some villages. And Herbie's double layering his wall. Like he's feeling what's coming rather than trying to go and get Harry and Jazz. That's just allowing them boom time. Harry growing stronger, Jazz growing stronger. She's whacking out the archery ranges now, because here comes the trash. Those crossbows that only cost wood, and on a map like Black Forest, you're going to want crossbows that only cost wood. That's going to really be a lot of those units coming out now. Ben is in. Look at this. Ben pushing through, but easily wiped out by those siege onagers. It's a good push, a good effort. Is that a gate round the back, maybe? Right, Herbie's got his own onagers. Again, look at this huge army here. But it's always a case of, should I, what if? Sometimes you've got to just throw caution to the wind, but it's easier said than done. The conquistadors coming forward, pushing back, but just trying to hit him with the skirmishers. Now it's wise. Oh, look at this. Herbie's gone through the back. Oh, brilliant play. Looks like they snuck round the back and they've really hit Harry's eco hard. The Boondarchers are in and causing a lot of damage. But the onagers will take them out, but that's a huge idle time for Harry's villagers. That's going to have damaged his eco. And he's just destroyed all his farms as well with those onagers. That's going to be more time to repair. Bombard cannons coming out from Ben. He's bided his time. He's had to regrow his economy after a fantastic early aggression. And it seems to be working. He's got the bombard cannons, obviously got that gunpowder upgrade. I do love a bombard cannon. They're so mobile. They've got the effectiveness of a trebuchet with the mobility of an onager. And the bombard towers are up as well. Again, the bombard towers, not a bad defensive unit. Again, quite slow. It is kind of like having a siege unit defending. But I mean, they're probably better on the playing on an aggression to putting near some other players' buildings. Harry hitting Herbie's first layer of wall with his trebs. And it's very cagey. Every time I seem to pass forward this game, something happens and I miss it. Castle just went down, and well, I think Harry just realised that there were two layers to that wall, pushed in, and here come the onagers, not the onagers, the bombard cannons, and they're taking out those trebs pretty easily. The mobility, it's just what I love. They've got the, like I said, the power of the trebs. Oh, and look, oh dear, Harry missed that. The bombard cannons taking out those siege onagers. That's a lot of gold. Mangadais are going to push up. He's pulled back the onagers, but he lost a fair few. Oh, doesn't mean too much. He's still got 12 of them. Still a good push with those bombard cannons. Oh, and Ciaran under pressure here, trying to hold off a push from Jazz with his conquistadors. And they're just taking a bit of extra damage. Those Jazz's onagers and her skirms and the crossbows just holding off those conquistadors. It looks like they're maybe losing here. Cavaliers coming forward, but they're not going to do much better. It's a huge army of trebs. Looks like we're into trash. All the halberdiers prepared by Ciaran, although that may be in response to Jazz's cavalry game. But I think she's switched to the trash unit as well. Let's just have a quick look at the eco. Look at that gold. Yeah, it's a very low gold. A lot of them struggling for gold. Jazz, I mean not Herbie, of course. Herbie's, look at all these resources. Herbie's still got them. I mean, it's a wonderful problem to have, having too much resources, but get some of those, get some more units out. Push, get a huge army. Spend. But there just seems to be a bit of a stalemate here, pushing through. Who's going to be brave? Knocking down walls, rebuilding them, knocking them down, building them up again. They're pushing through again. Herbie going for another attack, but Harry holding off. And the bombard towers are getting a hit now. So it's very cagey. No one wants to take the plunge. Jazz making a push, but Ciaran again defending well, holding her back, but looks like those halberdiers are going down to Jazz's effort. Our Persians with those skirms as well. The archer fire, halberdiers not a big fan of the archers. But she's going to need some siege to break down that wall, unless there is a gap, and she has found it and she's pushing. It's not a huge army, but she's pushing with it. Then just supporting with monks, just to try and heal some of those units, and they are doing well. It's a lovely little bottleneck here, pinch point. It's going to stop Jazz, really. It's a narrow effort to attack through. So look at, oh, and here comes Herbie again, just taking that round the back attack. And why is it not being guarded? They've done it before and they're doing it again. I mean, to be fair, I like this. Again, it's that sort of funneling the troops. So they have to come into this area where Harry can hit them with those omegas. And Herbie pushing through. Maybe a distraction tactic coming from the front. And here come the omega. Here come this one siege ram on its own, and it's going to hit those. It's going to hit things. Yeah, that's a good decision, Herbie. Hit the walls. Hit the walls. Get the walls down and go through the side. Harry coming with the Mangadies, but the high pierce armour of those siege rams is going to make it very difficult to get them down. And with the units inside as well, it's going to make them faster and more powerful. Halberdiers coming out now. Well, I like this, because as soon as that, I mean, the siege rams are getting close enough to those Mangadies to break, and the Halberdiers come out and counter those Mangadies well. Let's speed this up a bit more. Jazz continues to try and push through with her classic crossbows, but Ciaran has the answer with these conquistadors. It's a huge funnel of defence here. Again, Jazz will push, but those trash units aren't really going to stand up to those conquistadors. Again, trying to push through. Again, they're being beaten back. Here comes Ben on Harry meanwhile, and Harry is under pressure here and in trouble because he has not got a huge amount of army. Those siege have done a considerable amount of damage to his town. Herbie will continue to push now. He may feel he's got the upper hand. Harry continuing to defend admirably. And he's done well with those military with those buildings, using it to just wall off his TC, be protected. They're holding firm. Oh, look at this. Cheeky from Jazz. She's using the Onaga, attacking the ground, destroying those trees. She's created a path round the back, but Ciaran may have spotted it. That brilliant outpost position has spotted it, and indeed Jazz is about to walk into a flood of cavalry. It was a valiant effort, but that brilliant outpost position there from Ciaran has prevented that ambush from happening. That's not a big army when you compare it to Ciaran's. Good night. Bang, bang, bang. Just trying to push on two fronts on Ciaran, but again, it's just trash units. And if they've not, just look there. Look at Jazz's gold count, really low. Look at Ciaran. Look at Herbie. Look at Ben. They've won this, you feel. They've got the higher gold count. Harry running low. But both of them have resorted to trash units to increase their trade gain. But easier said than done. It's not a huge trade route between them, whereas Herbie and Ciaran can get that down a bit further. Ben was pushed really far back and spread out. Herbie seems to have dropped a bit in the standings. He was top for his group. Now Ciaran has risen up. And look at those rams from Ben rather. And Ben just clearing a path, opening things up. Siege onagers. They'll just try and take out some of this trash. Jazz may have realised she's in trouble here. You're relying on trash and you're coming up against 3 unstoppable ecos. Conquistadors are going to push through, and they've walled up as well, and it looks like they're going to turn it into a gate. Again, Herbie continuing to put pressure on Harry, who's responded well, but again, they're just trash units. They're going to find it very difficult to push through on these three, on Ciaran and Herbie and Ben. And they've still got a goal, and they've still got a hell of a lot of gold to play with. It's gone all quiet again. And Jazz just trying to open things up here. Just waiting on the three of these to just push through. But to be fair to Jazz and Harry, they're defending it well, but it's kind of delaying the inevitable at the moment. It's really in control by Harry of those units. They are defending it well. Herbie's struggling to break through. It's just a case of who's going to attack first. Just trying another push through the woods, but she's going to run into Ben's siege. She may have just realised that. No, she will now. Again, struggling to push. Harry holding him off really well, considering the difference in UK. Again, it's all about trying to sneak around the back, but those players, every time someone's come through, they've had a response. They've been waiting. Whoa, look at this. Harry, what a push. He's knocked down one castle. He's going for the second, but Herbie may just have knocked out his siege round. That's a great push by Harry. He's been beaten off Herbie for so long, just waiting to get that gold, presumably from his trade. And he had enough of those siege rounds, pushed through, he's knocked the castle out, he's destroyed a lot of Herbie's troops. Now Herbie has got a lot of siege, but not many units left. Now he may be in trouble. Now if I were Harry, I'd go straight for the eco. He's going to try and take out the trebs. Meanwhile, Ben has invaded Jazz with his Teutonic Knights and hand cannoneers, with monks rather supporting. The Teutonic Knights, a very powerful attack, although very slow. They seem to be doing well, and the hand cannoneers providing support. Harry's brought troops back to help. Meanwhile, Herbie's getting a bit of a battering, although he's holding it well. And I mean, look, he's got the eco to put up 2 more castles. The Teutonic Knights continuing to cause havoc in Jazz's base, and they are going for those villages now. And a lot of villages going down from Jazz's. Look at this, those Teutonic Knights going on a killing streak. The Hussars have finally got to them, but they're getting taken out. Those Teutonic Knights are so strong, it's just a bit slow. Wow. Now a very impressive unique unit, the Teutonic Knight. Look at that, they're still going, they're so hard to take down. Incredibly powerful. Ciaran has meanwhile pushed through. Things are looking pretty bleak for Jazz. And she's got a lot of wood, but she's not got the gold. She's coming up against, what is it? 3 unstoppable ecos. I mean, just look at the gold count comparison. Harry's doing well, he's got a lot of gold. But that's gonna stop now because Jazz has lost their market, and look at all those parked up. Oh, and Harry's gone for, I'm just going to seal myself in and hope for the best. Huge walling up job going on here. Herbie doing the same. It's going to be back to a stalemate, but he may just, it may just be, you know, a bit too little too late from him, because they're going to come up through Jazz's town now. Indeed, Harry is having to defend from Ciaran and Ben. Jazz hasn't resigned yet, but she is losing a considerable amount of villagers. Look at the villager count. Harry on 135, Jazz now on 41. She has lost over at least half, but she must have had more at some point. And Jazz is struggling because she's fighting them with hussars. And just look how slow that health's going down and how many are attacking that Teutonic Knight. It's incredible, really. Note to self, don't use hussars against Teutonic Knights. They're pushing through. This surely is it for Jazz. She can't really recover. She's trying in vain to rebuild. She's putting up some houses just to get her pop back up. Look how low it is. And it continues to decrease, although she's pushing it back up again. But you'd think that the battle is lost here. Harry's still trying. And Jazz has migrated 3 villages across. Maybe try and rebuild and start again. She's just looking to get the houses up though. She's still got all those stables for those hussars. But like we've seen, they've got no chance against those Teutonic Knights. Here they come. The hussars will fight in vain. But they're really no match. And just look at them, they're so outnumbered, those Teutonic Knights, and yet, how many are they going to take down? They've taken all of them. And there's more to come. And look, they've built, I mean, this is it, the castle's gone up by Ben, the barracks are up. Ben's now pushing through on this side. I mean, considering, look at Ben, what a response. Was in castle and early Imperial as well, the lowest score in the game. He's now top of the leaderboard. The early push on supporting Ciaran with that early push on Jazz has paid dividends. He may have lost out on the eco in the mid game, but late game he has really surged to the top. Jazz really trying in vain to recover this game. It appears to be peeing into the wind at this point. Just have a look at the military count, and Jazz has 15 ranged units. I presume they're crossbows or skirmishers. I mean, look at that, 105 infantry alone. That is how it is, and those Teutonic Knights. And the trebs are in from Ciaran, who's really enjoyed using those conquistadors today. And a good performance from Ciaran as well, aggressive from the off, keeping Jazz locked in, forcing her under early pressure right at the start of the game. Herbie as well, keeping Harry occupied for a huge part of this game. Just stopping him from building that unstoppable army that he's shown in the last few meetings on a Sunday. Jazz, again, trying to rebuild, but you look at her eco, it's just not strong enough. Sort of delaying the inevitable at this point. Look at this. Ciaran and Ben in full flow. Like a knife through hot butter. Harry's city is torn to shreds. Herbie's Fiend Archers coming in, and they've spotted Jazz's refugee camp, and they're making mincemeat of it. Harry's out, Jazz is out. Game over. A brilliant performance. It's always tricky playing in a 2v3, but with 2 booming players like Harry and Jazz, you always thought maybe they had a chance, and at one stage it looked like they were on top on the score, they were leading the way, but 3 unstoppable ecos, and you've got that much gold, there's there was no, and Harry and Jazz ran out of gold so quickly. He just knew it was only going to be one winner. Let's have a quick look at the stats. And we've talked about the scores. Ben leading the way. He takes MVP for his side. Harry takes it for his team. A good performance by him. A real resolute defence against Herbie for so long. In the end, just caved to an unstoppable eco. Looking at military, wow, how about that? Harry has killed 1,452 units in that game. Ben killed just over 1,300. That's a huge amount of units. I mean, this was a long game, 2 hours 39. Largest army shared by Ciaran and Jazz with 201. Looking at the eco, over 100,000 food from Harry, 125,000 wood. That's a fantastic economy from him. But you look at the gold scores, 37 from Harry, just 17 from Jazz. She must have run out there fairly quickly. And the 2,000 trade profit. She really struggled for gold in that game, and you could tell once you struggle for gold, you're always in a bit of a pickle. Herbie leading the way with 80,000 gold collected and 63,000 on the trade profit, and that showed with his array of siege units and plumed archers. Looking at the feudal age advances, Ciaran went up first. Harry took Castle Age first. Ben was first into Imperial. It was a very, I think, Ben and Herbie slow starters, but finished really strong. And Herbie and Ciaran leading the way with castles. Relics were captured well. That just shows how much gold Harry and Jazz really didn't have any. Struggled on the relic count. I mean, it looks like Harry must have had the relics at some point and then lost them. He did have a fantastic villager boom, 137 leading the way. But like I say, once you lose the gold, you lose the battle, I think. Unless it's the same for both sides. And there is the timeline. Fantastic 5-player Black Forest. I hope you've enjoyed it, and we'll see you again soon.